Hi, my name is Olivia Pennington, and I am currently a bachelor's in nursing student at Southwest Baptist University, Mercy College of Nursing. Today I will be discussing a literature review about the importance of treating community-acquired pneumonia. This literature review summary will discuss the best treatment options that have been discovered through research, along with the pros and cons throughout the research process. Community-acquired pneumonia can affect anyone and everyone. These studies are important to patients since better treatment options were discovered. Researchers found that achieving early clinical stabilization in community-acquired pneumonia, meaning 4 days or less, is associated with improved outcomes, lower requirement for initial treatment modification, or readmission and lower resource use, compared with a later response. This is crucial for subjects since this means faster treatment time and a decreased risk for developing more complications related to community-acquired pneumonia. Healthcare systems should look into this research since it helps to highlight what providers can do to decrease additional complications or infections for patients with community-acquired pneumonia just by following clinical guidelines and treating patients in a quick manner. Ultimately, this means less time spent in the hospital and a decreased mortality rate. The public should take community-acquired pneumonia very seriously since it has been labeled one of the leading causes of death due to infection in developed countries. The public should be aware of signs and symptoms of pneumonia and know when to seek treatment to decrease the progression of the illness. Community-acquired pneumonia treatment is important to me because it is a very treatable condition that often becomes untreatable and has extremely high mortality rates due to disease progression. It is also important to me because I have taken care of many patients, young and old, who have suffered complications as serious as septic shock from this infectious illness. My PICOT statement that I further investigated throughout my research is, for adults diagnosed with community-acquired pneumonia, is it more beneficial to treat the patients with antibiotics in an inpatient or outpatient setting to decrease complications with the treatment lasting 5 to 7 days? As I began my research, I discovered that the CINA-HL database was the best option for me to find articles related to my subject. First, I came up with 3 words or phrases that were to be used to find my research. These 3 words or phrases included community-acquired pneumonia, antibiotics, and adults. Then I combined my words and phrases via the Boolean operator by placing the word "and" in all caps between each word or phrase. After completing this step, I further narrowed my research to be between the years of 2012 and 2018 so that my research was recent. I also included the full text option so that I could review all of my research and included an abstract so that I could quickly eliminate articles that I did not find beneficial. The next step was choosing my 5 articles. I chose my articles because the studies were conducted differently and provided different levels of evidence as stated by Boswell and Cannon. The articles that I chose also gave me a variety of different options to see what has worked and what has not with different patients who have developed community-acquired pneumonia in different settings. All of my articles provided me with a little different outlook on community-acquired pneumonia treatment. I chose my first article that was published in 2014 because research was conducted to determine what treatment options patients were responding to faster. It has been proven that the faster patients with community-acquired pneumonia get the illness under control, the better the treatment outcome and success. The next article that I chose had to do with infection prevention. The thought process behind choosing this article was to figure out what interventions that could decrease the risk of patients acquiring more complications in the inpatient setting on top of receiving treatment for community-acquired pneumonia. This article explored whether or not the use of antimicrobial intervention was beneficial in preventing infection. The third article that I chose was published in 2015. This article was selected because it looked to see how another region was doing with their treatment compared to the areas in America. The goal was to determine if one region or area could take certain aspects of care and interventions to better their own treatment of community-acquired pneumonia. The fourth article was published in 2016 and was selected to include patients who do not fall under the typical pneumonia category in order to compare and contrast treatment options and to determine the best care plan for these patients. The last article that I chose was published in 2015, and it was used to consider patients who had another health concern on top of community-acquired pneumonia. The research was conducted to determine if patients who have an increased inflammatory response on top of community-acquired pneumonia would benefit from a corticosteroid treatment. After selecting the articles for the literature summary, I looked for similarities and differences between the articles. One similarity that really stood out to me was the article by Mahbub and all of his colleagues, and Blasi and all of his colleagues, that both stated that outpatient treatment is the best option since the majority of patients with mortality related to pneumonia are the ones who are admitted for treatment in the hospital. Another important similarity that was noted is that all of the articles specifically stated the inclusion and exclusion criteria, making the population of the study known and helping readers to better understand what population these results were able to apply to. I did not notice any inconsistencies between the articles. However, one inconsistency within an article was stated by Torres and her fellow writers. Torres and the fellow authors discovered that the use of corticosteroids does help patients who are suffering from an inflammatory response with community-acquired pneumonia. However, they stated that other studies have not found it beneficial. Throughout the research process, the articles were straightforward in addressing any gaps and limitations. In the first article, some of the values were unavailable to be reviewed. This is a limitation since those missing values could potentially alter the studies and outcomes. In the second article, a major limitation was that the study was only conducted on a single site. This makes it challenging to know if there is any external validity. The third article lacked information on how pathogens were obtained for research, and the mode of recruitment on an in-hospital mortality was not stated. Another major limitation was that the majority of the patients were labeled low mortality risk. This means that it is difficult and probably not ethical to apply this research to patients who were labeled high risk. In the fourth article, it was stated that the presence of atypical microorganisms could have been easily underestimated or overestimated. Also, this study only included severe mortality risk patients, which could have skewed the results for patients who are low risk. Lastly, the study had data from 4 different studies that were conducted previously, which could alter the results, and some of the patients that were involved in this study had already received antibiotic treatment prior to the study. In the last article, the results were not able to be generalized to all patients, and the patient accrual was very low. There was also no assessment of adrenal function of the patients, which could alter the results of whether or not corticosteroids really are beneficial in treating pneumonia with inflammatory responses. The treatment time with the use of methylprednisolone was only conducted for 5 days, when the treatment is usually longer than that. The last limitation for this article is that the duration of the study was extremely long and drawn out, and advances in medical care could have been made and altered the results. In conclusion, I discovered that there have been changes in practice. In fact, hospitals that have implemented the guidelines listed to the right, the survival rate of pneumonia of community-acquired pneumonia was higher. Also, the patients who received antibiotics had a higher treatment success rate. The guidelines set in place in 2007 included the following topics: hospital admission decision, ICU admission decision, diagnostic testing, recommended diagnostic testing for etiology, antibiotic treatment, outpatient treatment, inpatient, which was not ICU treatment, and pathogen-directed therapy, pandemic influenza, time to first antibiotic dose, duration of antibiotic therapy, and other treatment interventions. One would assume that since patients in hospitals found success rates for treatment of pneumonia, that you would continue to use the guidelines, and the patients who received the antibiotics according to the guidelines also had a higher success rate. However, if you notice, these guidelines were placed in 2007, and all of the articles that were chosen for the summary were published years after this date. It makes me wonder how much institutions are complying with the guidelines, and if that could be the simple answer to having a higher treatment success rate for community-acquired pneumonia. This concludes the literature review summary. Thank you for your time.